Alright guys, so here is the next video. This is called power over power. Well, basically when you have a exponent raised to another exponent, you multiply the exponents. Okay, so right here you're just going to do 2 raised to the 8th power, x to the 2nd power raised to the 8th power. So multiply 2 times 8, which is 16, and that's that. Here you need to go ahead and distribute the 4 to everything. So here you're going to do m times 9 times 4, which is 36, times n 5 times 4, which is 20. It's weird, but it is what it is. Alright, right here. So the number part also has to be raised. So for example, right here, you're going to put 5 to the 3rd power times x to the 21st power, 7 times 3. We need to go ahead and figure this out. 5 to the 3rd power. So 5 to the 3rd power is 125, and then you bring x to the 21 over. Alright guys, so this one, I want you to be very careful here. So this is negative 3 squared. Okay, so watch how I write this, because you might get the wrong answer if you don't use the correct notation. Negative 3 squared, and then you have x to the 2 times 2. I'll just write out each step and then we'll simplify it. So negative 3 squared is positive 9. Basically you're doing negative 3 times negative 3, which is positive 9. So I'm just going to put positive 9 there, and then you have x 2 times 2, which is 4. That's that. Alright, these two. 1/2 to the 3rd power. You have to make sure that everything gets distributed out. So you're going to do 1 over 2 cubed, okay, times 3 times 3, which is 9, and then 4 times 3, which is 12, and then 5 times 3, which is 15. Okay, now here the 3 has to get distributed to everything inside of my parentheses. So 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8, and then we have everything else. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring everything down. Okay, alright, so this one has a couple of processes. We have to first distribute the 3, and then we got to combine everything else. So I'll go ahead and distribute the 3 here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 3. So you have here 3 to the 3rd power. I think I'll go ahead and write it all out. So this 3 is what I'm distributing. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 times this 3 over here, and then you have y to the 3rd power times the same 3, and then I'm just going to go ahead and bring everything down. Let's go ahead and simplify this. So 3 times 3 is 9, so you have x to the 9th power, y, 3 times 3 is 9 again, x, and then y squared. We can simplify this even further. Remember that this is a 1. So this here, we are not raising a power to a power. We're actually multiplying it. Everything is being multiplied. So remember the rule. The second rule I went over was you add the exponents. Okay, so you're going to do 9 plus the 1 here, which is 10. And then y to the 9 plus 2, which is 11. Okay, so basically I added these two together to get the 10, and then I added, oh my gosh, there's too many pens here, 9 and 2 together to get the 11. Okay, alright, negative powers. These ones can get a little tricky, so just kind of see how I keep everything kind of organized, and so I can simplify it. Okay, usually when we see a negative exponent, we don't keep the negative. We're gonna move the position. So like if the negative is in the top, we move it to the bottom. If the negative is in the bottom, we move it to the top, and so on. So here we have z to the negative 4, and so I'm going to go ahead and draw my fraction bar. The 1 goes at the top, and then the z to the 4th power goes down into the denominator. If the negative is in the denominator, it gets moved to the top, so h to the 7th power. Okay, now over here, the negative 4 has the negative 3 to it, but the x has the positive. So I don't have to move this. This is the one that I have to move. So I'm going to draw a fraction bar. This moves in the denominator, writes the elevator down. And then x squared stays at the top. And that's it. Well, that's not it. We got to go ahead and figure out what 4 to the 3rd power is, which is, I believe, 64. 4 to the 3rd power is 64. Alright, so here's another tricky one. The negative 5 is only to the x, not to the 2. If it's to the 2, then you'll see some parentheses. We'll go through those examples later. But for now, just know that the negative 5 is only to the x. So that's the only one that's going to move, okay? So x to the negative 5 goes up to the top. You don't have to write the 1. And then the 2 comes over. You keep the 2 in the denominator. I know it looks a little weird, but that's the answer. Alright, there's a bunch of stuff going on here, so let's see what we can do. What I'm going to do here is actually, before I move things up and down, well, there's no up, there's only down for the negatives, I'm going to go ahead and use my power rule to combine my variables. So, first things first, the 4 and the 5. We can go ahead and multiply those out. 4 times 5 is 20. That's done. And then for the c, I'm going to do 8 plus negative 5. I'll clean that up in a little bit. And then d, negative 3 plus negative 1. Okay? And then let's see what we have here. Alright. So negative 3 plus negative 1, that makes it a negative 4. Alright, and then so that means that I can go ahead and move the negative 4 into the denominator. So you have here 20c cubed over d to the 4. Okay? Alright, the last example for all this negative stuff. Let's go ahead and do the same thing here. We're going to combine the exponents with the same base, and then we'll clean it up later. So you have here a minus 5, and then times, so we're going to, okay, so here we have b, 8 plus a negative 3, that one, the b to the 8th and b to the negative 3. I'm going to combine those, and then you have c to the negative 12 plus 7. And let's clean that up. So you have negative 5 plus 7, positive 2, 8 minus 3, positive 5, and then negative 12 plus 7, that's negative 5. So the only thing that's going to move is the c. So I'm going to keep those at the top, and then move this to the bottom.